And today, Chinthana ma'am is going to address us about another very important issue. So, I congratulate Santosh Prabhu and his team for a fantastic job, first of all. And you can see that those who have joined our institution and even those who are outside who might have joined this, you have taken the right decision as far as your life and career are concerned. So the law begins from birth and it follows us throughout our lives. Wherever we go, we need law. And knowledge of law makes a huge difference in our lives. So when you look at the six topics and the seventh one today, and the various topics which I'm sure Dr. Santosh Prabhu will organize in the years to come, you will see that we are going to have any area you look at, law is there. Payment and the lawyers have a major role to play in getting some kind of relief for all these very hardworking medical professionals. So with this, I would like to hand over the session to the coordinators. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I'd like to invite Ms. Prachi Shetty to introduce our keynote speaker for the day.
Ms. Chinthana Poovamma graduated from STM in the year 1998, and soon after she moved to US. Post this, she graduated from California Western School with an LLM degree. Currently, she lives in California with her husband and two children. She works in the LLM department at California Western School of Law as the assistant director. Again, a warm welcome to you, ma'am. We look forward to learn from you.
Thank you, Prachi. I would like to invite our speaker for the day, Mrs. Konganda, to take over the session. To you, ma'am.
Thank you for the lovely introduction, Ms. Diksha and Ms. Sparsha and Ms. Prachi, and thank you, sir, as well. So I wish I was really doing this presentation in person. It is truly an honor to talk to students from STM, my alma mater. First of all, I hope you and your families are safe. We have been hearing stories, and it's heartbreaking to hear about the horrific situation in India due to COVID. Anyway, let me move on. Let me share my experience with this amazing group. Little bit about me. After I graduated from STM in 1998, I worked at SR Jagdish sir's office for a short time. Back then, we had to do mandatory apprenticeship. It was that time, long time ago. I believe now you have a bar exam, right? So, so I completed that and immediately moved to the US. Almost 23 years ago, that is. I graduated from California Western School of Law with an LLM degree in the year 2000. And I would have loved to work in a law firm thereafter, but I had to make a sacrifice in order to start a family. My husband works for a big company, so his job is very demanding. So I made a call to take a step back on my career. I was a full-time mom for a few years. So after my second child was born, I was looking to get back into the job market, but not necessarily in a law firm. I just didn't have the time to work in a law firm. So because the hours are exceptionally long and demanding, so which wouldn't work out for me with my schedule. I wanted to work somewhere where I have a better work-life balance and enjoy the job. So I chose a career in academia. There are many reasons one must choose to, or one should choose to be an academic. First of all, you need to enjoy it, right? And academic life is not for everyone. But I personally felt it was very rewarding because I enjoy working with students. I was also given an opportunity to teach legal English, which I did for a few years, and I thoroughly enjoyed teaching as well. I enjoyed working at California Western School of Law, and I still do enjoy working at the law school. since the environment is great. And there are other advantages, like working, if you're working in a university or law school or any other college. The advantages I thought would be like meeting deadlines. I had more flexibility at work, which I don't think I would have had that luxury if I had worked in a big law firm or in a law firm. Of course, this is a base of my experience. So you get time off. Other advantages would be you get time off if you're working in colleges or universities when they're not in session. And also working at college or law school makes it a little more casual setting than a law firm. I have colleagues who are practicing attorneys for many years, partners in law firms, or close to making it to a partner. They change their career paths and join the law school and to teach or hold other positions, right? And also like positions like career advisors. These are all attorneys in the career advisor office. They're admissions counselors too. So they have already gone through law school, pass a bar exam and stuff, etc. So I do know of colleagues who have said that their life is busier now working at the law school than it was than in law firms. So it's actually totally depends on the person, I think. There are other paths one can take with your law degree. That is, there are many different fields you can choose. Whatever your dream job is, you need to figure out what is right for you in terms of work-life balance. Maybe my formula isn't yours, right? As simple as that. So you must be wondering, how did she land this job? How did I land this job? I had a good rapport with the director of the LLM program. It is always good to network. Remember that. And have good relationships with people in your field. So the director of the LLM program offered me the position to work as the assistant director of the LLM program. One thing, please remember, is networking is key to finding a job. I really want to emphasize the importance of networking. Okay? Develop contacts, be it friends, family, student associations, alumni, or people you meet at parties. Basically, anyone who can give you job leads, right? And people easily forget the importance of networking, such as when do I start networking? When does it start? It starts while you're a student. And that's what I did. I would network, I would go anywhere. When I met people, I would think, okay, will this person help me in some way finding a job? Yeah, I wouldn't say I was aggressively looking for a job, but making contacts. That's how you build contacts. So, and I have students right now who are blindly applying for jobs after they graduate or while they're graduating. Close to graduation, they start blindly applying for jobs and not hearing back. So, and they get so frustrated. They come to my office and like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I need to find a job. I need to support myself here. It's a lot. I know in India, a lot of your parents help out here. A lot of them are on their own. So, and one thing I'll tell you is networking sometimes helps you find a job. Okay. But don't get me wrong, it's not only networking. Just networking will not suffice. You also have to apply, but keep in mind that always, when you apply for a job, when you apply for a position, does the job suit me? Or does the job suit you? Or if you're good, if you're a good fit for the job, it's both ways. Like if the job fits you, or is the position good fit for you? So otherwise, you'll be just doing the job and it's just going to be another day in your job. So though I love working as an academic, all along, I wanted to practice law. Yeah, that nagging itch to practice law. But I needed to pass one of the toughest exams before I could practice. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. It is the bar exam. I had no time to study. I had kids, I had family, and I have a full-time job. And it has another biggest issue was it had been way too many years since I graduated. I mean, like 20 years it has. Like, I graduated in 2000, so it's almost 20 years since I graduated. And I had forgotten most of what I studied in law school. So, but that's when I thought of a friend of mine who passed the bar exam with 3 young kids, and one was special needs child. And to add to all of this, she was a single mom. So I thought, if she can do it, I can too. I was in fact in a better position than her. I had a supportive husband, and my kids are older and independent than hers. So I realized I was just coming up with excuses. So now I come to think of it, I launched my career once as an academic. Now I need to relaunch my career. And that was it. I was just thinking, the only thing that's standing between me and my goal is myself. Like a lot of times you would be thinking the only thing that's standing between you and your goal is you. So I woke up one day and decided to take the bar exam. Yes, just like that. Thought, okay, that is it. I'm taking the bar exam this year. In addition to the bar exam, we have to take and pass what's called the professional ethics. You have it too. I know I took it when I was in STM, professional responsibility class. So we have a separate exam called MPRE for that, multi-state professional responsibility exam. So I took that as well. After passing both, I'm finally, so I did pass recently, both the exams and a whole bunch of other exams, right? I'm finally taking the attorney oath next month, the oath ceremony. I'll be attending that. So I will be embarking on a new journey as an immigration attorney very soon. I wear different hats at the law school, at California Western School of Law. I'm also serving as an admissions committee member for the Juris Doctor program. This is more of a temporary thing. I'm just helping out the Juris Doctor program. In that role, I read applications and either accept, deny, or waitlist candidates. So I was reading a file, an application of a candidate who worked as a nurse for 27 years. She decided to change her career in her 50s, because she always wanted to be a lawyer. You can definitely do anything you set your mind to. It only takes action on your part, it takes perseverance, and most likely getting out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid of failing, because we all fail one point or another in life. I have failed too, a few times in life. But remember, nothing worth having in life comes easy in life, right? So if you fail, try again. Nothing to be ashamed of. So why immigration law? So it was more of a natural choice for me in practicing immigration law. I decided to be an immigration attorney because of my knowledge of immigration. I am also, in addition to being the assistant director of the LLM program, I'm also designated school official, DSO, for student and visitor program. It's a branch of Department of Homeland Security. So in my capacity as the DSO, I issue I-20s. Those are immigration documents. So these I-20s I'm talking about, these are, I send it or issue it to students for the student visa. So basically I do everything for a student to enter the US, track them. I mean, not physically, but most part of it is registering back in every semester in classes, etc., etc. So track them while they're here and assist with their immigration needs. So sort of my destiny took me in that direction to ultimately be an immigration attorney. I have regrets, and my regrets I realized much later in life. I think most of us will realize that we could have done better in college by working hard to your full potential. I say almost all, or most, because I know few of them who did well in college and worked very hard. Some, like me, undoubtedly have regrets for not putting in the 100% effort. I see some people might be like, yeah, she is absolutely right, right? It happens because we are young at that age. So I'm seeing this from my own experience. Looking back at my life at STM, I could have done better. I mean, you have great lecturers at SDM. I know that. I mean, I was a student. There were really wonderful lecturers, wonderful teachers who, and for you, these great lecturers are sharing a wealth of knowledge to do better in law college and also do better in life. So I have interacted with few of your lecturers, and I can tell they all want you to succeed in life, 100%. So maybe it's an immaturity, but take my advice, it is never too late to turn things around. At this point, let me just circle back to what I said a few minutes ago about studying for the bar exam. Studying for the bar exam at my age isn't easy. Wasn't easy. And also working full-time made it only harder. I mean, really hard. Where is the time to study, right? Only weekends. And also I have kids. I have to tend to their needs. So I cannot tell you how many times I wanted to give up on my goal of being an immigration attorney or being an attorney, period. So, but that thing called grit and perseverance in overcoming any obstacles, any failures that come in your way took me all the way to achieve where I am and what I am today. So when your mind wants to give up, take a break, talk to a friend, a good friend, or anyone who will boost your morale. I have a friend I would call, and her mantra was, focus on today and not tomorrow. Or she would say, take one day at a time. So these wise words, with those wise words, I would just think of, okay, think of what has to be done today. And that is it. Wake up next day, fresh and ready to take on the world. So you must be having this question. she lives in the US. She went to law school. We call graduate programs as law schools, undergraduates as college. So you must be wondering, how did she feel about competing with Americans? So yeah, it is hard with competing with others. And how many of you feel like, oh, you're not good enough? I mean, that is me. That was me. That is me. I second guess myself. And I think it's normal to sort of have that doubts unless you're a go-getter. So what did I do then? Or what do you do when you have those doubts? Or a feeling that you're not good enough? Find a mentor. I had a mentor. Her name is Professor Jacqueline Slotkin. She's a founder, director of the LLM program, who was also my first supervisor. And she was undeniably my biggest cheerleader. So my current supervisor is also very supportive. So it helps you surround yourself with people who will guide you, who will give you good advice. So I always go back to what my mentor said when I had these doubts. She has retired now, but I still stay in touch because she's my mentor, right? Anytime I had doubts, anytime I need advice, I call her. I reach out to her. So what she says or what she said is, remember, you're bringing something unique to the table. Each one of us are different. Each one of us have different skill set. Each one of us have different creativity, different personalities, different experiences. And your background is different from another. So employers will see, oh, this candidate has something different. I'm interested in this person or this candidate. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not good. I may not be able to get this job or may not be able to do it. You can do it. Have a mentor. I will tell you how important it is to have a mentor very soon, okay? So what I would like to say is have confidence in yourself. Just because someone is book smart doesn't mean they will do it well in their career. I mean, that's my theory. Don't quote me on it. So end of the day, all I can say is have a mentor. How do you find your mentor? And how did I find my mentor? So anyone can be a mentor, right? You can meet them accidentally anyway, but choose the right person. Most mentors are in your field, someone you want to be. In my case, it evolved organically. It's not like I went and picked Professor Slotkin. Hey, I want you to be my mentor. I mean, you cannot do that. It just should happen, but think of like, okay, I want to be that person. So my mentor is someone I wanted to be like. I looked up to her for advice. I would literally mimic her. Her experience in the academic and legal world helped me bypass some of the mistakes. Not necessarily the mistakes she made, but others did. She would talk to me about it, and I would like think, okay, that is probably not a good idea for me to do. So I wouldn't do it. Or she would say, do this way. I mean, more like a guide, your mentor. So learn from others. Like Mr. Fania Pinto mentioned last week, it wasn't a mistake of hers, obviously not, that if she had the opportunity to go back to law school and do law school all over, law college all over again, she would certainly change little things in her approach. Great advice, great tips. Take tips from those who have been through the process. I don't really, specifically remember what exactly she said. Sometime in her third year, she would tweak a few things here and there. But great advice too. So mentors also provide encouragement, which we all need from time to time. Absolutely need it. And let me talk about law school here, applying to, if anyone is interested in studying abroad. You need to apply to law school. First you need to apply, the application. And then I'm actually going to go over the application process very briefly, because I'm not sure how many of you intend to study in the US. But feel free to ask me questions. I can go over more in detail. So once you apply, you will need letters of recommendation. That's 2 letters of recommendation, personal statement, and obviously your LLB transcript, your resume or CV, financial certification. It's basically a bank statement. It applies for your visa, showing that you have the ability to pay for the fees. Law school fees here is exorbitant. It is ridiculously expensive. But students take loans from their home country, because for you to take a loan in the US, you will have to need a US citizen who is sponsoring you, co-sponsor. So once you're accepted, you get all your immigration documents ready for your student visa. I can again go over it in depth if anyone is interested. I mentioned about the Juris Doctor program, JD program, a few minutes ago. The Juris Doctor, JD, it's not the same job description Ms. Varsha Shetty mentioned last week. This is the Juris Doctor program, JD. You can apply for the JD program after you complete your bachelor's degree. So you complete your LLB or any undergraduate degree, any major. You can take arts, commerce. Some of them join law school after engineering. So, and like I mentioned, the nurse who after 27 years decided to join law school. Going back to the JD program, so once you complete your bachelor's degree, you apply to JD program. But for an LLM, you need to complete your LLB degree. So for both JD and an LLM, you need bachelor's degree. So here, I know in India, you go right after your high school, PUC or 12th, to law school or law college. Here, you need to join a 4-year degree program. And then you can apply to LLM or JD. So, but for an LLM, a bachelor's degree in law is required. After you complete your degree here, you have the option of staying back in the US. You need to find a job. You need to find an employer who will sponsor your H1 visa. In my case, it was a different kind. I got married and came, so it was different. But for someone who comes here to study on a visa and decides, okay, I need to stay on, then you need to get your H1. Find a law firm or a law or a company that will sponsor your H1. So once and you can stay on, but if you decide to move back to India from after you complete your studies, your degree abroad, in the US specifically I'm talking, will make you more marketable, especially if you're working for international corporations, companies that have ties with the US. So finally, I want to quickly talk to you about, I think I did. Yeah, I did. So the takeaway from this session is networking is key. Find a mentor. Finally, have the grit and perseverance to achieve your goal. Let me conclude with a quote from American singer, songwriter, actress, author, name it, businesswoman Dolly Parton. Above everything else I have done, I have always said I've had more guts than have talent. So a person who is so accomplished, say she got through doing all this, the list I just said, she's done everything in life. It was the guts, the courage to do, go get something or go try to achieve your goal. And that's the grit I'm talking about. The grit to go, the determination, okay? Anyway, at this point, thank you all for taking time to listen to me. Even though it is quite late for you all, I'm starting my day. As you can see, it is 6:30 for me in the morning. My heartfelt gratitude to all of you who have joined and listening to me, and to Dr. Tharna and Santosh sir, and all other faculty members who joined today, and all those who worked behind the scenes. I virtually met a few of them just before the session, and for taking, giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts. With that, I am ready for questions.
Ma'am, Mahesh Chandra here.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to know, I mean, once you become an immigration attorney, now who pays your fees, basically? I mean, if you work, let us say, you may start with students, just like you just mentioned, you track them and all that. Subsequently, maybe there are people who come from war-ravaged countries, maybe Syria or Iraq or Palestine, etc. They may want to come into the United States. Now, when you work for a firm, now where does the funding come from?
Okay, there are, so I will be working for a for-profit law firm. So these are clients who are coming from like business background. So they are affluent folks, I would say. But Syria, and yeah, there are a lot of them who are coming asylum seekers.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely no money to pay. But there are legal aid societies. I'm also doing pro bono work for this company. I mean, it's a nonprofit organization. It's Los Angeles Charities. I work there as well, pro bono. So when those guys, when LA Charities, for example, there are other big sponsors who pay for these the fees, all the immigration fees that are involved. And I will not be working at the law school once I start my attorney journey. So it's a whole new, life I'm going to be going into.
I have one query, ma'am.
Sure.
Can an NRI sponsor for the loan which you were talking about in the US? The NRI who's in US, can they sponsor for the loan?
You have to be a US citizen or permanent resident. They can sponsor.
Okay. We have one query in the chat box.
It is, what are the career prospects of pursuing LLM in the US? Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, what are the career prospects of studying law in the US, LLM? It is, I mean, you can do JD and you have a better prospect than an LLM. That is honest answer. But if you, for for example, um, completed your LLM and you get to work on something called optional practical training for 1 year. That's given by the USCIS just to give you experience. And after that, you can apply to all the jobs that are available. It is a little harder for students doing an LLM because they complete LLM in 1 year, whereas JD students have 2 to 3 years of law school experience. They've gone to law school for 2 to 3 years. So you can apply and join any field you want, but you should pass a bar exam if you have to practice. You need the attorney license to practice law. For example, I would say, I mean, pretty much any, I missed a question that came in. Any field you can. It's not like you have to stick to, once you pass the bar exam, you can be a litigation attorney. You can do, even just, be a negotiator. Some of the negotiation or negotiators or mediators, they don't have a law license. You can absolutely be a negotiator or a mediator without the law license. Which area of law has more demand in the US? Pretty much anything, I would say. The ones that make most money, I would tell you immigration isn't. That does not make much money. But corporate law, being, I'm trying to think what else can be, can give you good, high-paying jobs. Estate planning attorneys, they're okay. The ones who make a lot would be working in big law companies, in-house counsels. You do make a lot of money there. It's a steady income you make. Some of the litigation attorneys make. And I don't know how things are in India now, but it has changed over the years. I know it has changed, but we have. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I see questions coming in, and I'm like, I don't want to miss some questions. So
It's fine, ma'am. You can continue, and once you're done, I'll read out the questions for you.
Okay. So I think I would say being a corporate lawyer would be a very good high-paying job.
Okay. So to our next question, ma'am, is the Indian law degree applicable there in the US, and which country would you suggest is good for higher studies apart from the US?
So the US does recognize Indian law degree, and that's what happened. That's how I could do an LLM, and that's why I could take the bar exam. Common law countries have it easier when it comes to getting recognized their law degree. I know one student from one of the Middle East countries. His law degree wasn't recognized, so he had to go back and do the Juris Doctor program all over again. So, yeah, it is absolutely recognized. Which country would be best to go into higher studies? I can talk about the US, but UK too. I'm not sure about Australia and other countries, but absolutely US. Remember, the fees is very high. If you can afford, you will do very well.
Okay. Next, any entrance exams for joining LLM in the US?
No. So at least in our school and most of the law school have it. You don't have an entrance exam, but for the Juris Doctor program, yes, there is something called law school LSAT. I know India has it. Yeah. LSAT, and you have to score really well on that LSAT to get admitted to good schools. But that is the only entrance exam for Juris Doctor program. LLM, you don't need.
Okay. What is the scope of arbitration and mediation in the US?
Very good, very one of the good positions, but as far as paying, if it is a high paying job, not necessarily. You don't have to, like I mentioned, you don't have to pass a bar exam to be an arbitrator or a negotiator. Yeah, you get a
Next is, do open universities, US based, have same standing and recognition as other universities in the US, which are in the US?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. These are the freestanding law colleges versus the universities. Of course, there are rankings, right? The freestanding law schools or law colleges not necessarily are on the top because the universities are known for their athletics, and etc. So the freestanding law college sort of goes lower on the ranking scale.
Okay. But they do have the same recognition, like
Oh,
it is
absolutely.
valid. Yes, yeah.
So yeah, we have something called ABA, American Bar Association. If you're accredited there, not all law schools are accredited by the ABA. So if a law school is accredited by ABA, then it's recognized all over the US. And taking the bar exam is a lot more easier compared to a non-ABA accredited. I just remembered about taking exam. Some students are required to take TOEFL, the English language exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't in our law school because we know Indian students and people who come from primarily in English speaking, English medium, as they say, we don't have to get them to take their TOEFL.
Okay. Ma'am, what are your thoughts on LLM in Canada, Ireland, or New Zealand? How are they? Are these
Oh.
countries good?
I don't know about Ireland, or I would say Canada is very close to the US physically and education wise. Um, they also have a bar exam, but I would, which one was the other one? Ireland?
New Zealand and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know the LLM there. I would have to look up on it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Among these three, I would say Canada probably would be your best bet.
What is the syllabus for the LLM program in the US, and how is it different from India?
Oh, great question. Because I had little bit of adjustments to be done. Here, the syllabus, the classes are quite similar. The subjects, of course, the law is different. The civil procedure here is totally different, absolutely crazy and boring. And constitutional law is also really kind of dry. But those two subjects, otherwise, I would say evidence, it gives the Indian students an edge when it comes to some of these classes. Contracts is quite similar. Property law. I mean, I literally had some confusion, adverse possession duration. What in India, or am I getting confused in the US? It was a total confusion in the beginning. So I had to adjust because it's so similar. But also, you find it easier when students like coming from another country, they kind of struggle. Like Mexico, they don't even have a concept of torts. They've never studied torts in Mexico. But we know what torts is, so it helps. It really does help coming from India to study abroad.
Can we know the range of in dollars probably for fees in US for LLM?
I was waiting for that question. I'm glad somebody asked. It is the lowest end is this is a 1-year program I'm talking, LLM, is $33,000. That's almost, I think, 80 lakhs. I am not too sure how much it translates to Indian rupees.
23,
Around
24
24,
lakhs.
24 lakhs.
70 rupees more or less, ma'am.
Yeah. So how much would that be? 24 lakhs? Okay,
Yes,
it
24
isn't that much then. I mean, it is still a lot compared to India, but it is, yeah. So that is like the lowest fees, and it goes all the way. A lot of law schools have in the 50,000 range, and yeah, that it's very expensive. I know my students who come from other countries, they are constantly complaining how expensive it is, and yeah. And if you're lucky, you're like top of the class, you can get some top of your LLB degree, you can get a scholarship.
Okay. Do LLM graduates get internship opportunities in law firms? And does the college assist international students for the same?
Yes, we have a full-blown career and professional development office. They will help you in your resume, they'll proofread in the application process, and applying to jobs. We do apply, we do help. Our career and professional development office, they're all attorneys there who work there, so they know what one has to do, how to be more competitive, how to go for interviews, and how to dress for an interview. Everything, A to Z, they help you with. Yeah.
Can you shed some light on the interviews they conduct to enter the college, to get into college?
So I sometimes, if I have question on an applicant, I do an interview, or my supervisor does. But otherwise, if the candidate is outstanding, I mean, there's nothing on their application that raises red flags, we will accept. But as far as interview, we want to gauge their, not more than the knowledge of law, their language. Yeah, we don't want them to struggle. I mean, it's a lot of fees. So they come into the US and they're struggling because of their language ability. That is the main thing we look for. But for JD students, they have to get the LSAT, right? The aptitude test. And even a lot of LLMs are doing this. So you apply through LSAC, Law School Admissions Council. So are you familiar with that?
I don't think we are that familiar with it. So
Okay, so
I've heard of it. So yeah.
Yeah, so LSAC, once you send in your application, you only have to send it to one place, LSAC. And then you can from there, they'll make sure all the documents are there. From there, you target different law schools. It's not like you're going let me send Mangalore and National Law School and I don't know which other law schools are we. I'm just throwing your names. It's not like every law school you have to send separately. One place, LSAC, and then you target, okay, let me do California Western, it's from there through the LSAC. It's much simpler, I think.
Yeah, it works as an agency to spread out your credentials to the
correct
college. Okay. And which branch of LLM is good to take up? Okay, this person needs to say what are the subjects, probably.
Okay, there is also something called preparing for the bar exam. That's a general LLM. LLM in US law, they call it legal studies. There are different, like a general LLM, right? And there is also specific LLMs, LLM in taxation. So if you're doing the general, you get to take 24 credits. And that's the problem. You're not taking all the classes that are bar tested. You won't be able to take it during the LLM. So it's quite challenging for an LLM student to take the bar exam because you're not fully prepared. You're taking very few subjects here and there, pick and choose. And there are a couple of mandatory courses you have to take. In addition to that, you can take, I mean, for the rest 24 credits, you can take any one of the classes that are offered. I took I took civil procedure, I took concession law, but some of the fun classes, business organizations, property law. I mean, I'm not sure if property law is still fun, but I took some of the fun classes. You can take whatever classes you want within that 24 credits. That's how much you get for the money you're paying. Beyond that, you have to pay per credit.
How is the LLM entrance exam conducted in the US? And what are the key areas and key points to focus on for the entrance exam? Key subjects and I think they need to say LSAT.
Oh, I see. LSAT, yes. That if you're applying for the JD, Juris Doctor program, then yes, you have to take LSAT. It's more of an aptitude test, and there are review courses to take it or prep courses. One should join that. And same with the bar exam. I just remembered. I mean, once you graduate, to prepare you for the bar exam, one must take a review course. They'll prepare you because you would have hardly taken any of the classes that is bar tested, like very few. So yeah. So going back to LSAT, it's more of an aptitude. How much of the law they test? Because I've seen students or applicants who have been paralegals. So if you don't have a license, you can work as a paralegal too. Who have worked as paralegals. So one would think, okay, their knowledge of law is quite good, but I see the LSAT score is not really that high. That means it's not necessarily they're testing on your law knowledge or legal knowledge.
You tell us more about Juris Doctorate, the JD. Yeah.
It is a Juris Doctorate or Juris Doctorate. So that one is, again, you need a undergraduate degree, right? After 4 years, you can apply to a Juris Doctor. It's not like in India, you can go after your 12th or PUC. Juris Doctor degrees are, you have to take your LSAT, and you need all the other, they're more stricter than LLM, I would say. At least in our school, we are very, very picky with the candidates we take for the Juris Doctor program because it goes into the bar exam, bar passage rate. So we want a bar passage to be high. So when I look at an application, I think, okay, is this candidate going to pass the bar exam first time? Or, that goes into the national ranking, sort of. I mean, if your bar passage rate is high, automatically students want to join you. So going back to your question about Juris Doctor program, you need to score really well on the LSAT. I mean, really high. And need to have a good GPA. From your undergraduate degree. Again, you can take any major or anything during your undergraduate degree. Arts, commerce. I had a student after engineering, he applied to law. And like I mentioned, a nurse, nursing degree. So you can have any degree and then apply to law. Juris Doctor. But for the LLM, you can't. You have to have a LLB degree or a first degree in law. They call it in Germany, first degree in law. So you can have any of those. But for JD, in addition to LSAT, you need good letters of recommendation, good somewhat legal experience. But we go heavily on your GPA and LSAT. Okay. Make sure if you're applying to the US for a Juris Doctor program, your LSAT is very high. And in addition to that, you need personal statement. Most of you know, I mean, there are really, really good experiences I mean, good personal statements, some of them right. Not just jotting down your experience. It's about you. We want to know you. We want to know what kind of a candidate you're, what kind of person you are. So personal statement is about that. We also, I mean, personal statement for JD and LLM, we need both. Um, in addition to that, your resume, your um, what else? Transcripts, all those, yeah.
Okay. How is the scope of legal teaching in the US? Like
Very
in
good,
comparison?
very good. Here, law faculty here are very highly liked, very highly placed. They are, and they get paid really, really well. Um, I mean, it's been a long time since I left India, but I mean, that's one of the high-paying jobs, being a professor in a law school. And I also think it's a noble profession. So I mean, law in general, and you be a faculty in a law school, you really have that respect.
It is a continuation to the previous question. That's why I had to interrupt. I'm sorry about it.
No worries.
Ma'am, I am an LLM pursuing student here at STM. So my question was, how would I be placed there in the US after, maybe in terms of joining a company, or maybe in terms of pursuing a PhD and joining maybe as a professor? I would like to know about it.
Okay, a good question too. So you don't necessarily have to take the bar exam if you don't want to practice law. To be a teaching professor, you can do your SJD, but as an LLM, you can, you know, if somehow you can get a visa, you can come here, and if you get a job, you can teach. Um, However, you're competing with other professors who are already licensed. Some of them are licensed, some of them have good experience, they've studied here, all that there is, yes. So you, and one more thing is, Indian students don't necessarily need to do an LLM if you're taking California bar. That's a secret. You don't necessarily need to study in the US at all. You can apply directly to take the bar exam and maybe just get a visitor visa, fly in, take the bar exam, and go back. And if you pass, find someone to sponsor your visa, H1 visa, and move to the US. But I keep going all over the place, sorry. Because every time I remember something, I want to throw it in and not forget. Yes, if you want to teach, again, come. You can apply. You don't need to study in the US. You don't need to even pass the bar exam.
We do have few more. Is it better to get an LLM degree from India or abroad, and why is the question?
I would say, oh my gosh, that is totally up to the person. Yeah. If they want to go abroad and live abroad, yeah, some, you know, you need to learn the nuances of their legal system. So somebody wants to go to Germany, yes, I wonder if it's taught in German. So you're probably learning a new language too. It's going to be hard. I have a student who is from a different country. I think she's from Iran. She went to Germany to study. She picked up German. So you need to, so yes, absolutely. You can go, if you intend to stay in Germany, do an LLM day. You want to move to US, you can do an LLM here. But again, an LLM degree from any country outside the US does make it more attractive when you go back. But if you have, a lot of students have already an LLM degree from India, and then they go abroad and do another LLM.
All right. This is kind of similar. The key difference between legal education in India and US difference. Are there any major differences between in the legal education?
Yeah, great question. Um, I don't know if things have changed in India, but even the exam here is very different than what it was in India. So when I took the exam, it isn't one question and you start writing an answer, right? Here it's a case. It's actually a scenario, or I'm just going to pick criminal law, and they write about a case that has happened, and they just put a question, pose a question, discuss. So you have to find what issues are there in the question. Was it manslaughter? If it is murder, or was it kidnapping? So if you have to spot all the issues. Is it the same in India or no?
We do have problem-based questions, but I understand like what you're telling is we have more of application-based
Yeah.
learning in the US. Okay, so we do have the bit of it.
Yeah, this is every subject is like that. Every subject is like that. So every exam was based on some case law, and we had to discuss the issue, and what we call IRAC, I issue, then you write the rule, then you analyze. So he went this, and in the night, and burglary, and so how is it? The rule should be connected to the issue. I mean, to your case, and then you conclude. Your conclusion can be different from the actual conclusion, but you have made your argument. So yeah, so that was different for me. And here they have MBE, multiple choice questions, multi-state bar exam. So these are multiple state questions. I mean, multiple choice questions.
Choice questions, MCQs.
Oh my gosh, they are really tough. I know a student recently took the bar exam and she didn't pass, and she was like, I hate the MBEs, I hate the multiple choice. But I've noticed one thing: American students who went to law school here and who have studied here, who are born and raised here, they find it a lot more easier than people coming from abroad. Because that's a new concept for us, the whole multiple choice. We don't have like that, and the fact patterns, what they call, every question, every fact pattern is very lengthy, and you have such a restricted time you have to answer it. And not all students coming from a foreign country or from international countries are fast readers, so they struggle. I had the trouble with the multiple choice questions. I was really like, my gosh, I had to train my mind day in, day out for the bar exam. All the time, MBEs, what we call MBE or multi-state questions, multiple choice questions. Yeah, those are my challenges. Other differences is we had jury here in the US.
Yeah, that is one major difference we do have.
Yes, you don't have, and it's a whole new world. You walk into the court. I mean, any one of us who are US citizens can be called as juries.
Juries.
Yes. My husband always gets called. Knock on wood, I haven't been, but he gets called. I did few times, but not as many as him. And they call a whole bunch of people, a wide range of them, and they pick based on, I don't know what they do. They pick about 12. That's what you need. 12 juries, and then few standbys if they fall sick. They call the standbys. So it's very different, and it's really like interesting. Yeah, that was it. I mean, there are a lot of small differences, I would say, but overall, I think Indians have it easier to kind of assimilate to the US legal system.
Any advice to the students who want to become an international lawyer and still not sure about what they want to take up as the specific subject in LLM?
Um, okay, I totally switched from what I wanted to be. I joined with the intention of being a corporate lawyer. I even did an internship in one of the wireless companies. All said, you know, things were a little fluid. When, like I said, my mind started going in the direction of immigration law because it really interested me. So you don't have to be like area of concentration in this or LLM in this. You pass the bar, you join anything which interests you. I know one of our LLM students, he is one of the top immigration attorneys here in San Diego, and he didn't even take immigration law in law school. I mean, when he did his LLM. So it doesn't matter what you want to major in or what your area of specialization is.
Okay. Can you emphasize on the importance of need of legal research in while pursuing LLM in LLM? I think it's
very
right.
important, very important. I mean, it is, see students who are not very good at, you enter the job, you take up a job, and you're not good at research or writing, legal writing. It's a whole different way of writing. It's not writing a letter to your friend. So we do have classes in law schools, in our LLM program, and most of our LLM programs for that matter. You have to take mandatory class, legal research and writing. You have to be very good at research and writing. I mean, that's what you show your senior when they say write a memo or write a plaint. I mean, you have to be a good researcher and good writer.
Drafting does give a lot of importance.
Yes, legal drafting.
Could you please highlight on the library system and library facilities of US law schools and major in your particular law school also?
Yeah, I mean, our entire building is dedicated to a library, law library. There is I think a huge number of staff members working in the library itself, helping. It's almost like a different college because it has its own dean of library. Yes. So, because legal, like you said, legal research and writing is so important that you need to have a dedicated space for it. And but now you have Westlaw, Lexis, all kinds of online tools to help you with your research. So we do have most of the places have very big library spaces. Most of the law schools, I think all of them, I would say.
And may I now call upon Ms. Rana to deliver the vote of thanks.
A very warm good evening to one and all, and a pleasant morning to our guest speaker. I, Rana Banu, coordinator of the Training and the Placement Cell, express my deepest gratitude to our resource person for the day, Mrs. Chinthana, for accepting our invitation, joining the meet, and for sharing your thoughts with us today. Thank you so much, ma'am, and we are really honored to have you as our guest speaker for today. Thank you, ma'am. Next, a heartfelt thank you to our dear principal, Dr. Tharanath, sir, for always encouraging us to bring up such sessions. Thank you, sir. Further, my sincere gratitude to our staff convener, Dr. Santosh Prabhu, sir, who is the backbone of Training and Placement Cell and the person who coordinates and helps us to organize such informative and helpful programs. Thank you so much, sir. I also thank Mahesh, sir, Head of Department of Law, and Santosh sir, librarian of our college, for their online presence for this session. I would like to thank Ashwin sir, Assistant Professor of SDM Law College, for his technical assistance and media support throughout the Career Guidance Week. I also thank professors from various colleges who have graced with their online presence. The Training and the Placement Cell is backed by a very supportive team with Ms. Parsha as the secretary and my fellow coordinators, Ms. Diksha, Ms. Shraddha, Ms. Devika, and Ms. Prachi. Thank you all. Finally, a very big thank you to all the participants who have joined us today. Hope that you'll keep supporting us, and we promise you that we would be back with interesting programs in future. Thank you all. Over to you.